What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, part 2 for season 12. So, y'all got me, bravo, because last week the reunion was so good, and this week it was just And of course, next week we're gonna have Kathy, so we know what we got going on next week, right? I thought we would get a little bit of Kathy, but of course we don't get any of Kathy, child. Well, we get Kathy showing up in her slippers and her nightgown and robe and her tequila, child. That was a whole situation. Anyway, let's go on and get this party started, child. Let's go on and get this party started. So we start off where we left off with Diana and Garcelle still kind of going back and forth. Diana was like, "You called me evil." And she was like, "Yeah, I did. Like, after you said what you said to Sutton, you called her a CUNT." And she was like, "Well, what's worse? What's worse?" It's not the point of what's worse. It's the point that she used that language to describe your behavior after you attacked Sutton. It's not like she pulled it out the sky and just said, Diana's evil. No, she was speaking specifically to a situation where your behavior was out of order. Then they were talking about the investigation, and I don't like the way she made it seem like that she was in a position to do an investigation to find out what happened to Garcelle's son, that Garcelle wasn't. Well, I have the money to do it. I have the means to do it. And I'm like, so does Garcelle? Like, Garcelle don't have your kind of money, but Garcelle ain't picking up, cans on the street for recycling shit. She can afford to investigate, and if she can't, her husband can't, her ex-husband can't. Y'all forget her ex-husband got a little coin. So I'm just sitting here like, girl, like, y'all really need to stop with this bull hockey. Anyway, I wrote Kyle. Oh, Kyle's package. So finally, I'm sorry, before we get to that. So finally, Garcelle was just like, "I'm done. Like, I'm not going to keep going back and forth with Diana. I'm done talking to her." And Diana was acting like she was so hurt by Garcelle and so disappointed in the way Garcelle treated her. And I'm sitting here like, you act like your ass was nice and perfect on this show, and you were not. And so they broke for lunch, child. And they gave us this whole montage of them talking at lunchtime because, of course, Erica and Lisa were defending Diana, talking about evil is worse than see you next Tuesday. But again, it's not about what word was worse. It was how the word. I already said it. I ain't repeating myself. Shit. So then we have Kyle and Dorit talking about Crystal and her, talking about what happened with her dark comment, them getting clarity on it. Then we have Sutton and Garcelle talking, and her asking, Garcelle asking Sutton, well, do you feel better, kind of getting cleared up about, the whole racist thing and how, you sort of cleared on that front. And of course she said, she did, it made her feel better that she was sort of cleared from that point of view or whatever. So we get back from lunch and it's Kyle's package. So we get into the whole thing with Kyle. It wasn't really a whole lot there, honestly. They talk about her daughter getting married and the money they're gonna spend, and they talked about child. They really didn't, cause Kyle didn't have no storyline. So other than Kathy, so honestly, I don't need really nothing major with that. So then they talked about PK, and Erica told this story about meeting PK years ago at the World Cup and him thinking that she was a porn star or something. And that's all I gotta say about that. First of all, Dorit was sitting there like, I ain't never heard this story before. Erica, you've been sitting on this for 4 years? Like, that whole first season, when PK said something to you about not having panties on, and like that was the whole storyline for the season between you, Dorit, and PK. At no point in time did it occur to you to bring up this story about PK coming at you and your girlfriend at the World Cup thinking that y'all were porn stars. That never... Because I could see if you didn't tell us publicly, but Dorit was sitting there like she didn't know what you was talking about either. And Kyle was like, dang, I never heard this story before. You just sat on that, Erica? Okay, then. Whatever. They talked about the situation where, the rumor about Dorit and Mauricio having an affair. And, they talked about that. Child, it wasn't really nothing. Like I said, Kyle didn't have no storyline other than Kathy, so it really wasn't nothing there, child. So then we had Garcelle. I wrote the 3 B's: the beach house, the Birkin, and Bill Cosby. So they talked about her buying her beach house. she's still doing construction. They've torn the house down, but they're still trying to get all the permits and stuff to start building. The Birkin, she said she loves it, but she's still getting used to having a purse that's that expensive. Girl, I feel you, because if I had a $13,000 purse, girl, I would probably feel a little nervous too. Okay. And then she told a story about Bill Cosby, which was in the book. Yeah. So she said she listened to her intuition. He offered her a drink. It ain't feel right. She said she took one sip, then she got the hell out of there. But I'd be curious, like, you took a sip of the drink. Did you get dry? I mean, I know you didn't drink the whole thing, but did you feel funny? I think that's what she said. She felt funny and she got out of there. The biggest revelation of this whole episode was that we found out that it was not Erica who threw Garcelle's book in the trash. It was actually Lisa Rinna. And what happened was Lisa Rinna threw the book in the trash and sent a picture to the group chat. A group chat that does not include Garcelle. So Andy was like, oh, so y'all have two group chats? Apparently. So it's probably the Fox Force 5 that got a group chat. Erica, Lisa, Kyle, and Dorit. They probably have a group chat. And what happened was when Erica got mad at Garcelle, she took the picture that was in the group chat, put it in her Instagram, and added the whole little story, whatever. Well, come to find out, Lisa threw the book in the trash because she was upset that Garcelle mentioned her daughter. And she said there was no need to mention my daughter. And Garcelle was like, I only mentioned Amelia in the context of me telling the story of what happened when we were in Rome while on the show. Lisa was like, I really don't care in what context it was. You didn't have to include my daughter. And Garcelle said, well, a phone call was made. Your lawyer called my manager, and we agreed that in the second edition of the book, because it was too late for us to do anything, in the second edition of the book, we will take that part out, and in the audio book version, it's not in there. Now, I hate to be the one to tell you, Garcelle. Probably ain't gonna get no second print. But okay. I'm joking. So it was resolved. So Lisa had a temper tantrum, whatever. Oh, then we had our package on Lois. I mean, what you gonna say? Rest in peace, Lois. It was emotional. Of course, Lisa got upset. Then we had Sutton, and we had this whole thing with Sutton being clumsy with her words and stumbling over her words and offending people all season, and having to, they talked about the thing she said about Dorit, and she apologized to Dorit. They talked about the thing with Diana and the abortion, Lord, not abortion, the miscarriage, and they talked about how, they sort of had to, she had to clean that up a little bit or whatever. And they said, well, she always wants to make things about herself. So they asked Garcelle, like, do you think that Sutton makes things about herself? And Garcelle was like, sometimes. And she looks at Sutton. She said, listen, I got to be honest. And the Fox Force 5 looked at each other like, oh, my goodness. I'm like, yeah, because Garcelle just did something that y'all can't do. Garcelle was still a friend of Sutton while being honest and fair. So y'all can't do that. Y'all just defend each other no matter what. Bad behavior, good behavior, no behavior. Y'all just defend each other. Y'all find a way to defend the behavior no matter what. Then they talked about Kyle manhandling Sutton. She tried to downplay it. But Kyle, you were wrong, and all you should have said was that you apologized, that you were drunk and you put your hands on her and you was doing a little too much. Now, she did apologize for questioning whether Sutton actually had a miscarriage or not. But you really owed Sutton an apology about, because you really did put your hands on that woman. You did too much. You did too much. Sutton and Lisa, they talked about how Lisa came at Sutton and, how mean she was to Sutton. And listen, Sutton, I've said this, I done said this to you a million times. I know you don't look at my reviews, but I've said this to you a million times. You cannot make somebody apologize to you. Y'all went through that whole thing, and then you're going to say to Lisa, well, I think you owe me an apology. She probably does, but you can't make her do it. You can't make her want to apologize to you. So Lisa did apologize, but I feel like she only apologized because you put her on the spot. She ain't mean that shit. We know she ain't mean it. And then they tried to make it seem like Garcelle is always defending Sutton, which of course is what Erica was trying to say about Sutton being a liability. And baby, Sutton turned that thing right back around on the Fox 45. She said, "Hold on, Sutton don't. Garcelle doesn't defend me any more than y'all defend each other in the way y'all have each other's back." And baby, they sat there like, what, huh? Yeah, yeah. So then Andy calls Lisa out on her Twitter. And Andy, I caught it on her social media. I caught it. You use the exact same verbiage as Lisa that you used at Candace. I guess you figured they're not gonna come for me. I'm gonna say the exact same thing. Your social media is a disaster, okay? So I guess they can't say, well, you came at Candace harder than you came at Lisa. And Lisa is, listen, the one thing I will give Candace credit for is Candace stood in that shit. Candace was like, I said it. People come for me and I come for them. They just get mad because they can't handle the way I come at them. They can't handle my comeback. They can't handle my mouth. Whereas Lisa is sitting there making excuses. I mean, I just have impulse control. Like, I don't know, Andy. I just can't control myself. I'm working on it. Girl, you are too damn old to still not be able to control your impulses. You knocking on 60, Lisa. You should be able to control your impulses to a point where you don't have to, and again, it's not that you respond, it's the way you respond. We all understand that there are trolls that get on y'all nerves and people say rude stuff to y'all. I get it. And y'all have to be on social media. It's part of what you have to do to promote the show. I understand it. But at the end of the day, it is the way in which you respond and the things that you say. And again, all she kept saying was, I know, Andy, I'm going to do better. And one of the viewers was like, y'all need to put Lisa on pause. Put me on pause then. I don't care. Put me on pause. Girl, you know you need that check. So then we get to the tweets where Erica made a comment about, if anytime somebody comes for Garcelle, we're labeled as racist, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say what I think, and I'm gonna say what I feel, and I'm not gonna let them come at me like that. Listen, and Garcelle made a very valid point, and Erica actually made a very valid point as well. Garcelle said, listen, there are things that when you say them up to me, they're gonna hit different than when you say them to each other. She said there are microaggressions. There are comments that are going to be taken in that way when they're said to me or to a minority versus saying it for you guys saying it to each other. And Erica was like, the reality is that there are things that, you know, things have changed and the consequences are serious. You could be canceled. Like, the consequences are very serious if you make a faux pas and you say the wrong thing. So then Crystal gonna say, that's all I'm saying. That's what happened with me. It wasn't that I felt like Sutton was trying to be racist, but I felt like it was a microaggression. And here go Kyle. Girl, that ain't what it is. Like, don't be trying to take this situation and turn it into your dark comment situation. We done already resolved that you lied. And Crystal was like, I didn't lie. It was my experience. It was how those words hit me. It was how those words affected me. And Kyle was like, but this isn't the same thing, girl. And so at the end of the day, Andy was like, I think we're talking about two different things. But I don't think we're talking about two different things. Let me say this. Although I think Crystal put 20 on 10 when it came to Sutton, I don't like the fact that Kyle is being so dismissive of what Crystal is saying. Now, did she explain herself in the best way? No, she did not. She stumbled through her words. She wasn't clear and concise in what she was saying. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what I feel like Crystal was saying was some comments that Sutton made hit me differently than they would have hit you. Because I feel like there was some microaggression in what she said. We've talked about it. We've cleared the air. She understood my point, and we have moved on. I feel like where Crystal got in trouble is the doubling down and I do feel like because in that moment she felt like they didn't understand what she was saying, she made it seem worse than it was to maybe get them to get it and understand where she was coming from. But neither here nor there, child. That is where the episode ends. Next we got Big Kathy coming through, and next week is going to be the Boom Shiggity. All right? Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.